and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the New Media Factory. Some programs on this network might include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Would you come if I asked you to ride with me on this one-way road that leads? Oh, I don't know, but I will take you anywhere you see. I know what you need, and what you got is exactly what I need.
I'll go again. Oh, we're on live. We're live.
Yes, we are live.
Oh, we didn't have a video. How long have we been on live?
Wait, did you hear that last part?
Yeah,
know the speed,
did they
right?
hear that? Okay. This is awkward.
Okay, scratch.
Welcome to Counterflow. We're live here, obviously, at the Beyond the Box.
You know, it's good.
NMF Network.
It's
NMF
good that my
Network.
microphone was around here. We were talking.
I think it would have picked it up.
No, I have
anyway.
not. Oh, yeah, we're there.
Hey, we're here.
All right. Basically, we're going to be dedicating this whole show to what probably the biggest motoring event. I think. Would you agree that we've had a single car? I mean, we've had an F1 car here.
Yes.
And an F1 driver or test driver in Davide Valsecchi, and a Filipino driver who drove the car. It's insane. So we'll be talking about that, as well as all the other things that surround it. So let's start off with this video that just aired this morning. It's courtesy of Solar Daybreak, and we'd like to play it for you just to start off the show.
Filipino-Swiss race car driver Marlon Stockinger showed off his driving skills at the historic Formula One exhibition in Manila over the weekend. Let's watch James Deacon as he takes us to the Manila Speedshow.
Welcome to the fastest road show. This is the Manila Speed Show. I'm James Deacon, and I'll be taking you through the streets of Manila in the fastest racing machines on earth. This is the Lotus F1 team being driven by Marlon Stockinger. Better buckle up, this could get rough. I'm sitting here with the man of the moment right now, Marlon Stockinger. If you haven't heard of him, you've been under a rock, I tell you, and a pretty big one at that. How was the reception there at the Luneta Grandstand? Could you hear the crowd from the car? Could you just see the excitement? And when you got up on stage, run us through that.
Well, it was just incredible. I mean, already when we started near kilometer 0, there was a lot of people just by the side of the road. Actually, it wasn't barricaded, so a lot of them were just flooding in around the car. And literally when I had the picture with the monument that said kilometer 0, I mean, I felt really crowded and almost a bit nervous in a way because I didn't expect what they were going to do. But thankfully everyone was really supportive and really nice, and we started the car, and after that it's just been a dream, really. I mean, there's so much support, people waving, people cheering, and I hope I gave them a good show by doing as many donuts as I was allowed to.
And now we're going to talk to Barry Mortimer, who is the actual head of the roadshow team. What does it take to bring a roadshow to Manila, or anywhere for that matter?
About 3 months of planning, for a long time, and
once we decide that we're going to come over, then I start my planning, and we have a huge packing list because obviously we have to pack the cars up. We've got some big boxes that we have to use to put all of those in.
So you have 5 tons of stuff here. How many sets of tires?
Well, we travel the cars on wets anyway, so that's always good because in case we do go to a place and it's raining, then we're already covered. And then I'll probably bring, it depends on how many days we're running for and how many runs that we have. But normally I bring about 5 or 6 sets of slick tyres with us.
And how many in a team? How many team of people do you take to just get the car into first gear?
Just to get the car into first gear, it takes 8 people.
So this is all necessary just to start. You can't start a Formula One car with a key.
No, it's not like your normal conventional car. Obviously we have just 2 pedals inside the car. We have a brake and an accelerator. We have a team of guys. We have to get the engine up to temperature. We have to get the gearbox up to temperature, hydraulic temperature as well.
Now, Marlon, what's next for you right now? Obviously, F1, you've done a test, you've done the road show, but what's next for you right now?
At the end of the day, just because I've done a test, just because I've done a road show, it doesn't mean I'm a Formula One racing driver yet. This is obviously the right path towards that, and I think Lotus is coming here, and the people giving the support is showing that that will be possible for sure. And we're the closest we've ever been to achieving a Formula One seat. The door is as big as it's ever been before in my racing career, so I think it's just important to capitalize that, but also important for me to do well in my racing season and prove to everyone why we're doing all of this.
Well, I'm standing here with Eric Bouillet, who is the team principal of the Lotus F1 team, number 2 right now in the championship, which is awesome. Eric, I'm going to hit you up with a very obvious question that's on every Filipino's lips right now. We know Marlon's done the test in Paul Ricard. We know he's done the road show. But really, what are his chances of ever getting into F1?
I think he's got every chance to be in F1 one day. I mean, he's talented enough, he's fast, he has got the right profile to be in F1 one day, and I have to say he's today in one of the best junior program to help him, support him to get there.
Thank all the fans, all the supporters, all the mga kabayan, all the Filipinos out there for coming to this event. It's been really wonderful to do a road show with all of you guys.
And if that wasn't fast enough for you, you better get your pulse checked. There's something seriously wrong. This has been James Deacon right here on Solar News.
Whoop. Yeah, really nice. What do you think, Emmeline?
I'm checking my pulse. It's beating so fast.
I'd like to thank Solar News for that on Daybreak. Thank you guys for this footage is of course owned by Solar, and we just played it here on the podcast.
And you're now with Solar, right?
And I'm now with Solar.
Could you tell us about the show, James? Is this every day? We're going to see you every day on TV?
All right. Well, yeah.
You might as well plug yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
You set yourself up for it. So.
Why? You think it was about Marlon? Did you even for a moment think that was? It was just to plug my new show. It's called Drive, but we're going to be airing it after the elections, probably around June or July. Okay. So in between now and then, we'll be doing stuff like this. I'll be doing segments, official segments for Sports Desk, for Daybreak, for Solar News. So if there's a significant motoring event, I mean, something like this show, Lotus F1 Manila Speedshow, or anything like that, I'll be covering it and they'll be airing it. So they're already branding the name Drive, and eventually by the time it becomes its own show, there's already some kind of identity. Wow. I've also lost a bit of my voice, so forgive me because I've been yelling for like 3 days straight.
Yeah.
That was
Actually,
tough.
I got sick of his voice. I was there for 2 days. Man.
Yeah. Can you imagine James hosting the gala night, the press con, every event that happened
3 days
over the 3 days? Yeah, 3 days.
All 3 days exactly, from press con to gala night to 2 days with Marlon. I also have to thank my co-host Peter Windsor, who was, it's just a thrill to have the guy in the country. It really adds a layer of credibility, I think.
Yeah, Peter Windsor is one of those guys. Anyone who's a fan of F1. should know who Peter Windsor is.
Yes.
Whether or not you read his articles, the fact that he's actually the one who does the post-race interviews, when it's like most of the post-race interviews are Peter Windsor. So by voice alone, I know it's him.
Yes, absolutely. And also
interesting things that you guys were talking about on stage, James. You and
Yes,
Peter.
you know-
talking about the donuts of
like the fashion show.
The fashion show.
That was very Pacho liked that. He was, he asked for a copy. We're burning a copy for you.
Honestly, I got lost there.
I think a lot of people got lost in the fashion show because, yes, it does seem a little. I don't know. The directors seem to love to always put a fashion show. Nothing's complete without a dance.
Was
and
there a
fashion
theme?
show.
Yeah, this had a dance
This
and
had
a fashion.
Was there a
Dance
theme
and
to
fashion.
this fashion show? Like, were they?
Okay, everything was,
It was-
very okay. You know, they were explaining why it's very important for Marlon to be in F1. Why it's very important for the Philippines,
Mhm.
you know, to have Marlon there. And then they're talking about the sponsorships. You know, even the president of club was there, explaining
Yeah.
all the support they gave it. And then, but now I understand why they don't have enough support for the lines. You know, and their service is a little bit. I think it went all the way to Marlon, though. But they're gonna get it back.
They spent so much. That's what I heard.
No. They're actually trying to promote the internet service, which is really good. It's really
You
really
use
good.
it?
Huh?
You use tattoo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty okay. You know.
But yeah, the gala night. Well, that was it's a matter of taste. I personally, I would not have had a fashion show, but I guess the directors and thought
But
maybe
the fashion
some people
show
would.
was fine, but hopefully, shorter. Because after that, we're like, okay, what is next? What is next? And they kept on going out, and I really don't know what happened afterward. I left.
Oh,
Yeah.
you left in the middle of the fashion show.
Yeah, and then a lot of people did, and then
What? So you missed the magician?
I didn't see anything. No, the
and the juggler?
clowns, the
No,
bubble show.
We didn't have.
No, we actually were thinking of leaving, but we saw them uncover the cars, and then we saw that they were about to start the engines, and we said, "Oh, we gotta stick around for this."
and that was awesome.
Because the one thing I was trying to take from all of this was, this is the last time we're actually gonna be hearing the V8s in
Yes.
person, right? So
Yeah.
next year they're moving to the turbocharged V6s. So we wanted to savor the sound all throughout the weekend.
And the sound that's another thing I was discussing with Peter and a bunch of the engineers, because a V6 turbo cannot possibly sound like this,
Yeah.
right, Pacho?
No, but the V6 sounds really nice.
Yeah, you told me.
But the
Pacho,
Six
right?
cylinder is always gonna sound really, really nice. Though.
Better than
the
the-
only thing is the turbos. The turbo's gonna work more or less like a silencers.
Yeah.
So it's not really gonna be as loud as this one though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think some people who are just anti-turbos, they say turbos suck.
Yeah.
Literally, because that's
Yeah.
what they do, right? To
Okay.
get power. They
No,
suck in
actually
air.
they blow. They
They
blow,
blow?
air. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then that's right. They say suck it in and blow it out
Yep.
to create the power.
Exactly.
But the okay, so
Wait,
highlight
but going
for me-
back to the show, I wanted to ask this: what was with that wax statue? Explain that to me.
I have no idea.
There was a replica.
Yeah, it's
of,
inside SM, right? Was this?
I said inside SM.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
it was inside SM.
Yeah, but on the show itself, it's like what? Marlon couldn't make it, so you had to make a statue of
He's
him.
already there, right?
It was like Madame Tussauds
Yes,
wax museum.
from afar, I actually really thought it was him.
But I didn't get that. Why would you have Marlon in wax?
You're asking the wrong person. I'm hosting the event. That's
I thought you had insider information.
No. I had
You should know.
No, I didn't know. I just hosted the event. I
Oh,
mean, I was
man.
just
You were briefed by them.
well.
Not enough, obviously.
Maybe he don't want to tell us. He just want to write it in the papers before we get to know anything.
Ooh, it's a touchy one still.
Let's not go there.
So they're the F1 car when it first came out. I felt bad for Marlon, for the group, that the first round was just in Luneta and Kilometer Zero. I know it was significant. I know they were doing it for Department of Tourism, etc. But it was just too short an area.
It was like 0 kilometers.
Yeah, literally by
Literally.
kilometer zero.
Yeah.
Now Moa would have Moa had at least that one long straight, but it gave everyone the opportunity to just hear an F1 car in the Philippines. I thought that was particularly wow. I mean, milestone, history in the making.
Well, the one thing good from that morning event was I was the same vantage point as Pacho. The car whizzed by us like 3 feet away from us, right?
Yeah.
With full rev.
Yeah.
So, that's never happened. I mean,
Where was this?
In
in
Luneta.
front of the hotel.
Okay.
Yeah,
The portion before
the
he turned
hotel
left
side.
to
Was he
Luneta.
going fast?
Well, he was revving.
No, but you know what? Actually, given the space, given the area, I have to say that Marlon did really, really good job.
Oh, yeah.
An awesome job because the speed was so short, and then he was able to pump up the car almost up to 4 gear. Because that's, okay, there's something, there are really two nice things about the F1. See how it turns, and hear how it shifts. Right, that's something that you really want to hear. And then he was able to pump it up to 4 gear. Maybe he was short shifting. Anyways, he adapted the car for the conditions. He did it really, really good.
Very,
for that one.
And he had to be very careful, Pacho, because it's we all know what happened in Venezuela with Pastor Maldonado.
What happened to him?
You didn't know about this?
No, of course I know, but you have to tell everybody.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, it's a bit of acting. Sorry, I missed that.
He's not
it
gonna
was too
say
good, too sincere.
Yeah. Are you really gonna tell us now, or are you just gonna write it first and then? No, just kidding, Giovanni.
Okay, I'll tell the story. So, Venezuela, from where Maldonado, F1 driver, comes from, they had a similar road show with Williams, right? And what happened is a huge crowd.
I mean, remember, this guy had already won the Grand Prix by the time he did
he's already a sensation. He's the Manny Pacquiao of Venezuela, okay? And so they had a huge crowd formed there. The president, I think, was there too and all, to see Maldonado run the Williams through the streets of Venezuela, whatever their hometown capital is, right? And he did a warm-up lap wherein he was waving to everyone, and then when he did the first hot lap on the first corner, he rammed it into the wall.
Yeah. Oh no, not the wall. The
like
sidewalk.
barricade, a sidewalk.
And he jumped it, and he completely tore the everything. Suspension was.
No one got hurt, right?
No. It was a corner that
the car got hurt.
The car got so hurt they couldn't fix
and
it.
his pride. Oh my God!
Oh, his pride. But the car was so hurt that they couldn't fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, like the whole team worked. They couldn't. They didn't bring a spare car, and there's supposedly almost riots in Venezuela. I don't know if they were paying for it, like tickets, or just hey, I came out here and. It just, oh man.
So that was the one advice I gave Marlon the Friday press con. On his way, I said, hey, Marlon, I'm going to whisper something to you because I didn't want to say this in front of everyone else, but please don't do a Maldonado. And he was saying, no, it's not going to happen. Don't worry, right? But the funny thing was I asked Peter Windsor about it, and his take on it was, well, actually, that was a good thing for Venezuela. I said, how could a crash be a good thing? Well, have you ever seen an F1 crash up close? They got to. And I said, really?
That's really glass half full. Huh? That's a half full thinking. Wow. But all right. So then they had a host of other activities. One of the other things that really impressed a lot of people was Valsecchi. Valsecchi was
Davide Valsecchi.
Yeah. Oh my! This guy is just crazy.
Daredevil.
He is crazy.
Yeah, and how lucky were the passengers of that two-seater?
Mayor Lim, I think, got to
Mayor Lim was in kilometer 0, so there was not much action there.
Okay. Yeah.
So they didn't put too much strain on his heart. Okay, but
who rode Valsecchi?
Ernest Koo.
Ernest Koo.
The guy from Manila Hotel.
A bunch of people. I mean, because the staging area was actually away from where I was. I couldn't see them getting in and out. Yeah. But
William got to ride also. William Herrera.
Yeah, William Herrera. He won the raffle.
And it's like he said, the limit was, okay, you had to be under 6'2", and you had to be under 210 pounds. William
how many?
Huh?
How much?
210.
And under 6'2".
And William said he's 209.
And 3/4.
That's wow.
Nobody got to
happy
ride.
for the guy.
Yes,
he's a big fan of
He
F1.
was. Oh yeah, but I mean, he was thrilled. I mean, it was just a pity that.
You should have seen his face after. He was like, "Ibang klase, Elbert, ibang klase."
Really?
He's a guy who follows F1. I mean, to get a thrill of a lifetime.
The 80s.
Okay, I have a really, really beautiful story I'd like to share with you.
The one in the hotel.
The one in the hotel. Yeah. This one.
You consider that beautiful.
The one I sent off the air, yeah.
Okay.
No. Here's a really beautiful story. Right, when Marlon was going around the Mall of Asia, it was a long lap, right? It was 4.2 kilometers, apparently, the layout. So 4.2 is, I was told by the organizers, and he's not on it, right, the whole time. So he's driving slowly, waving as well. So that takes about 3 minutes or 4 minutes or something like that. There was a lot of downtime in between his laps. So what I did, we held a impromptu competition. Because I could see this girl like waving a shirt, and, big fan,
Wait, she waved her shirt off.
It was a spare shirt.
Okay.
Spare shirt, yeah.
I was going to say I missed that.
So she's
How could you
waving
miss
this
that?
shirt. She's got something written on it. I just want a hug and a kiss from Marlon. And she's making a lot of noise. So I singled her out. And so I asked, so you're a big fan? No, I'm not. I'm the president of his fan club. Okay.
Whoa.
So then later I said, okay, well, let's see. Let's see how good you are as a Marlon fan. If you can answer 5 questions correctly, we'll give you a VIP pass to the tent. And you can meet and greet Marlon and sit down and eat some food and whatever, and you'll get your hug and kiss. So she said, okay. So all right. So I asked her I asked her first, how old is Marlon? She's 22. Wow. Okay. Well, it's not that hard, right?
Yeah.
All right. What's his birthday? Even just a month. April 4.
Oh, impressive.
All right. What was his first significant win internationally? The Santander Monaco Grand Prix.
Wow, right down to the sponsor. Okay.
This is amazing. All right, let's step it up a bit. What's the name of his uncle? Uncle Eric.
Oh, she knew everything.
Because I kind of mentioned Uncle Eric once, so I felt it wasn't that, but you have to be listening.
Who was the girl,
Eric.
the sister? Who was the girl, his sister?
His mom.
No cousin.
I said, Mrs. Stockinger, please. then he goes, so I said, you know what? Peter, why don't you ask a question? Peter Windsor asked. And he goes, all right, let's make it a bit difficult. This girl seems to know her stuff. What brand of overalls does he wear?
Wow, that's a good
Alpine Stars. So she wins, right? So her and her sister go into the VIP tent. I missed that. I mean, the Uncle Eric took them in and all that. And then I was guiding Valsecchi through the crowd, etc. Because he was getting mobbed. He said, I've never, even after I won the championship in GP2, did I get mobbed like this. It's like, they don't know him. It's like, oh, look, cute Italian guy, And then the more people take pictures, the more everyone's like taking pictures. And he was getting hugged and things and all that. So while he was coming out, the girls were coming out of the VIP area. And she was like shaking, going, oh my God, that was the biggest moment of my life. I said, really? You enjoyed that? Oh my God, I got to hug and kiss Marlon. I mean, you know what? We came all the way from Legazpi City.
Wow.
I said, I'll buy.
No.
My sister is 11 years old. She took a bus.
Wow.
12-hour bus from Albay.
Wow,
And I said, wow, are you crazy? And
That's
she said,
support.
yes, it's just to see Marlon Stockinger. So I said, wow, that's really impressive. And she said, you know what? Another thing, my dad said, I have this big fear of roller coasters. And my dad said, all right, I'll let you go on one condition. You ride the roller coaster there in Star City. She said, you know what? I'm so scared, but I said, I'll do it. Anything to see Marlon Stockinger. Yeah. So I said, that is just a beautiful story, And she said, yes. And then we have relatives in Project 8. That's where we came from. Yeah. So we had to wake up at 5 in the morning. We called a train, a jeep, a bus, a trike, and a taxi to get here. And we got here at 8 a.m., which is fine. It's 2 hours before it opens, just so we could stand there for the meet and greet. Wow. You know what? I didn't know all this, but I'm so glad it went to you. And that's how we left, right? It's not over yet. So I'm walking into the paddock, and I said, that was a beautiful story. So I'm now telling the mechanics. Yeah. There's this girl out there, whatever. And one guy's like, it's just beautiful. It's just, it's beautiful. I was like,
these are F1 mechanics.
Yeah. I was like, wow. They said, we got to get her into the car. I said, wow, well, she's gone now. Get her! There's got to be 10,000 people out there. Get her! Yeah, all right. I know. Okay. I walk out and I think, this is not going to happen. The first 2 people I see walking past are the 2 girls. Wow. So I go, hey, you, come here. And she said, what? Just come here. And I grabbed her hand and walked her through the security, said that she's with me, don't worry. Okay. Where are we going? Just follow me. And she's like, I've been here. I just came from the tent. Yeah. But then I brought her to the pits. As we got closer to the pits, she's going, where are we going? Oh my God.
She cried.
She's like freaking out. And I said, I'd like you to meet Mike Savage and Barry Mortimer. This is the team boss of this road show. And I just told him your story, and he feels that you should get into the car. She starts shaking. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Oh my God. She's like, Mom, you'll never believe where I am. Oh my God. I said, just give me your phone so I can take a picture of you. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. And she's like 90 pounds. And Mike Savage lifts her up like a child and puts her in there. She can't see over. It's the first person I saw in my life that actually was swimming inside an F1 cabin. Like normally people are going, how the hell did they fit in here? And she's like, are you still there? Are you still there? So she's now in the car. She's freaking out. I'm taking massive shots for her. I'm taking as much as I can. Him carrying her into the car, her in the car, and then the Marlon sticker on the side. Yeah. And she's just like, she couldn't wipe the smile off her face. I mean, I thought her face was going to crack. She was smiling so much. So then I said, all right, then we put the sister in. The sister, who's 11 years old, was in the car, and she's all excited. She's getting phone calls. She's screaming. She's shouting. They get out of the car, and then they start. The mechanics are all, kilig and like, wow, this is just too good. So they were all chatting. Can we have a picture? Can we have a picture? So all the mechanics surrounded. They were getting their pictures, and I just took 3 steps back just to see my handiwork, and just watch that beautiful moment unfolding.
Yeah.
And I was standing there going, that's just amazing. And then I saw Mark Nelson. I said, hey, Mark, you would never believe what happened. So I tell Mark the story.
Okay.
2 minutes later, ABS-CBN crew, boom, they're on television. Mark Nelson, can you repeat the story that James just said about? So now they're like, 15 minutes ago we were nobody. Now we're on live television, ABS-CBN, telling the world about what we did.
Yeah, that's
How awesome is that?
Wow.
Then they went back
That's
in,
cool.
they invited them back, and they just let them stay in the VIP tent. And she said this is the greatest moment of her life. And
Wow.
they're big F1 fans.
That's
They're
insane.
huge. She said my brother's going to just flip, my dad's going to flip because they're all F1 fans.
It all started with her waving her T-shirt.
Yes. Not the one she was wearing, but...
But now that James mentioned about her swimming inside the F1 car because she was so small.
Yeah.
Ask James if he got to sit inside the car.
I didn't need to. It's, you know what?
When he was hosting,
give chance to others.
Okay, I'll tell you the story. So
we gotta take a commercial break. We'll be back after these messages. We run out of time.
We had a little event. The whole weekend was capped off with a contest on a pit lane challenge. And we would change tires. I was doing the wheel gun, and my teammate was pulling out the wheel and all. And just before we started all of this, he had this bright idea of hosting it was seated inside the car.
Because it's a perfect vantage point.
We were working on the actual Formula One car, right? And so he comes in, and his feet are in the seat. It's like he tries to bend over, and it's like, James, I think you're a little too wide. And everyone is looking at it. It's like,
Barry just walked in. It's not gonna happen, mate.
It's not gonna happen. And he was asking them to remove the foam padding, and it's like, no, mate, it's not gonna happen. So he was hosting it with his knees together like this, standing. He said, okay, this is kind of awkward, but hey, we have the pit lane challenge now. And
the seat of an F1 car, it's like this. It's so,
lying down. It's like a bed.
So I can't even, there's not even a flat portion for my feet. So I'm like rocking like this as I'm hosting. But yeah, that was, I just couldn't fit.
He couldn't even pretend. He wanted to pretend to sit. They wouldn't let him.
Wow.
I wish Peter Windsor had time to stay here just for this podcast because, for the F1 fans, oh my gosh.
It's big though.
The insight that you get.
You're interesting, James, because I was listening to you guys. So when you're hosting the Carino Grandstand, the first run of Marlon, and when Marlon was doing donuts, Peter Windsor was talking about how well...
How I think I can't remember the terms he used, but it was how symmetrical, or there was. He was really impressed with that.
Yeah.
And then the question I always get asked every single time, ever since Paul Ricard, and then now especially, it's just every time somebody could pull me aside privately, they'd say, James, realistically, between you and I lang, I mean, I know that you want to help Marlon and all that, and I said, but between us, does he really have a chance? Or is this partly hype and all that? So it was a question I took very, very seriously. And I really went out of my way to ask each person and see if the results are consistent. He's got a very realistic chance. Yeah. This guy can make it all the way. Now, the rest just depends on us. See, it's a matter of he's done his bit. He's got the skill set. He's basically a perfect fit for F1. But realistically, he needs 15 million euro for the seat for a year. That's a minimum. Even Fernando Alonso has to. Well, it's not that Fernando Alonso has to bring it. It's well, first in the beginning he had to bring it, right? He had to bring the money to start.
Yeah.
But even now, Fernando Alonso may earn more than a small country, but there's Santander Bank throwing 50 million just to make sure he's in that competitive seat. So somebody's still paying the bill. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, but the difference is the money follows him.
The money follows, and this is what Marlon wouldn't in a team like Lotus. Marlon will not pay 15 million to the team, but he needs to bring his own sponsorship. So this is what they were trying to explain in the event in the fashion show. They were trying,
Really? Because I didn't get that. I was there.
they were dancing to it. They were trying to
It was
explain.
like a business forum that I didn't understand what the message was. But
Well, no, the
now
message
that you
was
say it,
this.
yeah.
The message was clear. This is a great message. Actually, it's going to be my topic for Wednesday's column, so you can relax. It's about this.
Wow, you're gonna tell us ahead of time.
and it's got nothing to do with any, it's all nice stuff about Marlon and all that. No, because what's
But really, on the fashion show, we got lost there, man. Okay, if I know how much is it that he needs?
15
No, I
euro,
don't.
million euro.
How much is that in pesos? You can
All right,
do
so
that.
that's why I'm explaining
Times
now without a
55,
fashion
right?
show. I'm explaining.
Wow.
This
Whole
is
village.
people will say 15 million euro. This is the normal reaction. Oh, that's ridiculous. What? So a spoiled little brat can go out and race a car? Oh yeah, that's never going to happen. That's the wrong way to look at it. See, a good example of this is China. China spent $750 million to build that track. That whole facility was $750. The track was about $400. Then they had to do modifications and the rights and everything of that. Guess what? F1 is just as unpopular today as it was before they built the track. It's never done anything for China because people have no emotional connection to a racetrack.
Yeah, that's
what they have a connection is to a person. Pastor Maldonado, 15 or to 20 million was invested by the Venezuelan government. And they put him there. Guess what? He won a Grand Prix. Venezuela is all over the car, and the national pride is insane. The sponsorship that makes, he's returned billions in terms of media mileage, new sponsorship generated. Young drivers are now being supported in Venezuela. This is the knock-off effect. So when you think about $15 million, don't think about it as an elitist sport. It's an investment. If the Philippines,
it's a
you can imagine
business,
trying
yeah.
seeing more fun in the Philippines on the side of a Lotus
But
F1 car, or
you
in the
know
wing,
what?
or in somewhere.
Honestly, I think this.
Wait, one last thing, Pacho. Just to put it in perspective,
Yeah.
what does it cost to campaign for even a mayor status?
Yeah,
More than $15 million.
Yeah, yeah.
Congress, Senate. What would you rather see, another candidate or an F1 driver representing the Philippines?
Yeah.
What this is, it's an embassy on wheels. That's how it was put. And it makes perfect sense to me. So $15 million, it's a bargain.
Yeah, and you know that
Euro, I
each and every F1 race is still the highest viewed singular event in any sport.
Yeah.
So it beats the Olympics.
For me, it could be very good for Marlon. I think it will be much better for the Philippines if it happens.
Yes.
But I think that there is somebody more interested for that to happen. F1.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a new
F1
market.
definitely.
That's
Why?
100
Because
more
and
million
then
eyes.
one of the big chances that Marlon has is because he's running with the Filipino flag,
Yes.
and then you have 90 million Filipinos.
100 now, yeah.
All right.
We've already crossed 100.
So, if you get a Filipino driver there, and then what's going to happen now with the Sepang, with Australia, with Singapore, with China Grand Prix? There's going to be a lot of Filipinos watching that one. And then the industry and everything, all the brands for the Philippines. And, it's going to be really, really big, not only for
That's
F1,
true.
but as well for the country.
And this is exactly what the team principal Eric Bouyer was explaining to me. He said, the thing is, at the end of the day, you need to have the skill. Okay, that's a given. Let's not pretend that has to happen. But Marlon's got it. But so does everyone else. Right? Yeah. He's not alone in the world with that skill set. He's not the only one to win the Monaco GP3 race. So what he's saying, but he's got it. Where Marlon is special is exactly what you said. He said he's marketable. He looks good, so he's able to sell products, etc. He represents a country that is not being represented now. That's 100 million new eyes.
Yes, exactly.
Now, if you tell him a new German driver comes in,
No.
he has to win a championship before they know this and know how to spell his name.
Yeah.
Here, the guy is he did an F1 test and he was treated like Pacquiao in Mall of Asia.
Yeah.
And he's not even an F1 driver yet. Can you imagine if he wins a Grand Prix, etc.? So this is the strategy of F1. They're trying to develop new markets, and we've all seen Europe is dwindling, both their economy and even the interest in the sport. It's established. The direction and the growth is the Middle East and Asia. And that's why That's why all the cards are there. We just now need to do our bit as a country to push forward, because this is where if we start, I bet you right now that road show was rumored to cost 100 million pesos. Rumored. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the rumor. And they would believe it.
I know more or less how much they pay F1 to. I mean, the team, the Lotus.
Yeah.
It was £500,000 British pound.
Okay, so then you put together everything.
Just for the team, and not for the logistics here.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know the exact figures, but that sounds so spot on.
It's plausible.
It's absolutely. So now you've got that situation where that's a lot of money. I mean, Globe has been supporting Marlon, and that's very much appreciated because that's his only title sponsor right now.
Yeah.
But that's not enough. I mean, Globe can't invest more than that. So they needed to. It cost some money, put it that way. But I believe that after this, people are going to come here. I think they might be able to recoup or just get close to. And if they could do that, then it was all completely worthwhile. Now we're on the radar.
Yeah, we needed that springboard. I mean, Monaco may have been that springboard, the GP3 race and all, but to get it into the country, to say this is how seriously close he is to actually being an F1 driver, because he can actually be given the privilege of driving an F1 car, is message enough to everyone that, hey, we're this close.
Balsecchi, the official team driver, reserve driver, was here, and he's an outstanding driver. We've covered that already. The team told me that Balsecchi at 22 did not have the same opportunities as Marlon. And look, he's in F1 and he's Italian, which means there's no more specialness to. I mean, another Italian. I mean, they're full of Italian drivers. It's nothing new. But so that's why they're saying it's all for us to lose right now. We're the ones who would lose it if Marlon doesn't get a seat. And they don't like to put time frames, because I kept pushing them, say, give us a time frame. And Eric was very strict. We were. It was a casual conversation, not press con. We were having a drink at the bar, just the two of us, and he said, the problem, James, giving a date, it sets unrealistic expectations, pressure, and we ourselves don't know. There's a very small window. Then trust us as a team, we need to find that window. We can put in a driver who's not ready and blow it for him. Okay? And that's the thing. If we say 2015, the whole country's waiting for it. By 2015, if he doesn't get a seat, the interest drops. He was never good enough and all that. I mean, we're disappointed. Now, if for 2015, Eric Bouillet says, well, I did say 2015 and the country's all waiting for it. And you know what? I could spare him a seat. And he ends up like somebody like Alex Young or D'Ambrosio. These are people who perhaps could have made it. I mean, but wrong timing. I'm not so sure about Alex Young. But the thing is, I think, I respect Alex Young immensely.
I think
immensely.
JP
but
told me that he's really good.
He's
driver.
fantastic. You can't win a Porsche Carrera Cup championship by being lousy. The thing is, perhaps Alex was pushed in too much by the country. The country had money, and they were like, come on, we want a Malaysian driver. And Alex looks a little bit like Marlon, right? So he was put, I think it was an example of being pushed too hard. Maybe had he been given another year of testing, maybe whatever, he could have had better results. And that's what they've learned, and they don't want to do that to somebody like Marlon, or anyone for that matter. So this is, it's a fascinating thing. It wasn't just about hearing and seeing an F1 car in the Philippines. That's the underlying message that I would love everyone to get is, we are this close. Believe it, it's this close.
Yeah, the fact that he was front page news on that Sunday was a big deal enough. I mean, that's the national exposure right
in
there.
Philippine Star and Manila.
Yeah, so
front page.
In that sense, the event did its job. Because you wouldn't get that front page just by winning Monaco.
Plus braving the weather. Can you imagine that there were parts of the metro that we hit 45 degrees I think that's Saturday or Sunday.
I don't know. I'm manhid na. I can't tell what's hot anymore. After standing for 2 days, this guy too, man.
That was really
tough. I saw you, James, really and you were just wow.
It was one of the toughest ones I've ever done. But you know what? It's that time where you all pull together and you just dig deep, because we know that this is our window. And by the way, we should also say, okay, all the attention's on Marlon Stockinger, and rightfully so. That's fine. But Enzo Pastor was fourth, I believe, in NASCAR, Euro NASCAR. So he was racing in France. He started 21st. This was, I think, April 19, and he came from the back and he finished fourth. So this is another example of, okay, if Marlon is the poster boy for now then it trickles down. It's like, oh, wait, there's another Filipino driver. And then maybe there's another Filipino driver. And then Globe and San Miguel and all these people say, well, you know what? Damn it, let's breed our own new drivers down in karting. Let's get them at 6 years old like they do in Europe, and let's fund them. Yeah. Let's really fund this, because all of a sudden, I mean, all the boxing gyms came up after Pacquiao, right?
Yep. That's a trickle-down effect.
It's a trickle-down effect. I mean, but we need to set that in action. We need to make sure that we start that chain reaction rather than to react when it didn't work, because that's usually the thing is everyone's waiting. Sponsors are waiting for fans. Yeah. Fans are waiting for sponsors. I mean, it's just chicken and the egg, right? So we're sitting there going, the sponsor going, it's not popular. It's not popular because it's not supported. And then
never goes out of there.
And so this is why, I mean, let's be honest, Marlon's fan, I've heard some criticism about, oh, he's a rich kid and his dad, and we got him all the way here through money. Great. Somebody had to do it. Yeah. It's a plus because somebody invested in him. Okay, happened to be his dad. Great.
But that one is something that they really don't agree on.
Who does? You don't agree that?
You don't agree on that. On that comment that you just mentioned.
No.
I mean, there's some people saying that and everything.
I don't think he should be criticized for it. I think we should thank him that he invested in himself.
The other thing is, when you get to talk to Marlon, when you finally get to talk to him and ask his question and everything, you can see that he can be a great ambassador for the motorsports in the Philippines. Actually,
great ambassador for the Philippines in general.
When he was in the Luneta, there were people approaching him and everything, talking everything. All of a sudden, the team calls him and say, Marlon, you have to go out again. Then you know what the guy says? Yeah, guys, I'll go back to you in a little while. I hope you understand. I really have to go back and run, He explained it very well. I mean, it's not in his head. It's not like a rich kid, a brat kid.
No, it's not brat. He's a very nice guy. Very nice guy.
Absolutely.
Very endearing, very approachable.
Not everyone knows that until you explain that. So some people are just, when we like to stereotype people.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like that's my personal take. I think that you're right. I spent days with him. I mean, like, you can fake this for an hour, 30 minutes over dinner. Yeah. But when I went and traveled with him, you can't keep that guard up for so long, that facade up for so long. Yeah. I went to France with him. We drove in the car. We stayed in the hotels together. We ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then this last few days, it's been nonstop. You're to the point where you're getting cabin fever already. Yeah. I would have seen the bratty side. No, if there was a bratty side, I would have seen it.
He grew up in the building I live in, by the way. So
yes,
this is not a mansion. So I have to just state that he grew up in an old
mansion, Elbert.
It's an old apartment, 1930s built building in the middle of Malate with no gates. Okay, I mean, well, we're not in a village. I mean, it's an down to earth building.
It's actually a very cultural, an artist building.
But here's a big challenge because during the weekend I had to run out and get something from the car, and so I could hear the people around the track in MOA. And their little reactions about, I heard one of the security guards go, pangmayaman lang yan eh. Hindi naman natin alam yan eh. So there's really a lot of educational process that has to happen. But then again, the same could be said about boxing. A lot of people didn't understand boxing before Pacquiao became,
soccer,
or even football.
Yes. Soccer is even a better example. Okay, we have 2 minutes left, so I'd like to address that point about being elitist and it's a luxury and all that. It doesn't cost any more to watch than the NBA on TV. Yeah. You don't need that much more. I mean, it's just a cable connection will do, and okay, it's not on free-to-air TV, but neither is NBA, neither is a lot of other sports that we like to watch. Even Pacquiao is, we all watch Pacquiao, and that if you want to watch it, how many hours later when everyone knows what happens and every punch is sponsored, boom, that punch was brought to you by... It's like that already. It's ridiculous. I mean, a fight lasts for something like 6 hours? I mean, okay, I think they're controlling it now. But just it doesn't cost you any more to watch a motor race on television. It costs to watch proper basketball or boxing or anything like that.
We could actually watch, if he ends up in Formula One, we can actually watch it live without any commercial delays stretching it.
Yes.
Like in boxing.
Because everybody the networks will be supporting him for sure.
Exactly.
In boxing, by the time it starts, it's actually over. And you're in around something I can't
actually, also in that comment that you heard, I was thinking on, okay, it's maybe a sport for a very rich people, very elitist and everything. But finally, the Philippines is going to be in the map of that area. Yeah. So the Filipino people are going to have more respect in the world, around the world.
How much do you think the Department of Tourism spends on advertising?
Yeah, this is
A lot.
Yeah.
You see?
It's a lot.
You think it's 15 million euro?
And the thing is it's like shooting a lot of arrows, hoping that some of them hit the mark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're spreading it around through CNN and Herald Tribune and whatever you can find, but is it actually hitting the target?
I don't know. Maybe not. But
whereas Formula
F1,
One actually, 20 million viewers per race.
and it won't
at
cost them
minimum.
15 million euro to put more fun in the Philippines. They could probably spend 3 or 4 million, and San Miguel could come in. Other big Philippine airlines should come in. These are our national brands. We pretty much run out of time, but we could talk all the time. We didn't even get to talk about the. You had Luis Gono driving.
Yeah.
13 years old.
Yep.
600 horsepower.
Yeah,
In that,
exactly.
we'll have to talk about that next week. But that was I was blown away. I was standing there going, no, maybe it just says Luis Gono on the side, but maybe I didn't know. I had to ask you afterwards.
Yeah.
Was that Luis? Because, wow. That is
he's drifting very well. He's
that's
driving
serious stuff, and he
very
didn't
good.
know how to drive a manual until.
Well, actually, this is that day there was the 7th time for him to drive a car. The first time
That's amazing.
the first time he drove a car was to learn how to shift, because he drove go-kart last year. He won the championship, and then this year we started to teach him how to drive the car. So he started to learn to go through the gears first. Then after, he has to learn to go through the gears without looking at the shifter. Because that's the first thing.
my son does
Right?
that.
So, drive without looking at the shifter and everything. And then on his 5th day, he was already competing. There was a event. Out of the 22 drivers, he qualified 7. That's
awesome.
very, very awesome.
We
though.
have to talk about that in the next show because we've run out of time and we've hit our own checkered flag. So I'd like to thank Elbert. Next week
pleasure.
we're gonna try and get in Ryan Cruz hopefully
Wow.
because
Give
we're
him
gonna be
enough
talking-
notice.
Something-
Yeah,
look
he's already got
forward
notice.
to.
Because he's another wealth of information for F1, and we'll talk about Barcelona and some other tidbits he learned from Peter Windsor that he will share. So till then, drive safely, everyone.
Okay, God bless.
Bye.